name is Charles Faulkner III, and today we will focus on performance management. And the company in which I chose to talk about is none other than Amazon. As a company manager, our goal is to go into specific workplaces and find changes that need to be made. For instance, one thing we will do is find ways to implement change in organizations, as well as identify positives and negatives. And for positives, what we could do is keep, which means we can adjust some of the things that they are doing to increase it. As well as for the negatives, we may get rid of it completely or find ways around it to make the negative seem also positive in its own light. Before getting into the main topic of adjustment, we will focus on the introduction of Amazon. Amazon is an industry that is led by Jeff Bezos, and Jeff Bezos is the CEO of this company. Amazon is considered a shipping and receiving company which can serve as a third party for shipping out products to those that decide to want to buy a product. And one thing that is also good about Amazon is they do, in fact, allow the opportunity to be promoted in their specific workplace. The performance issue in which we will talk about with Amazon has to do with their anytime feedback tool. So, what is an anytime feedback tool? An anytime feedback tool allows employees to send positive as well as negative messages directly up the chain of command. In this way, although workers do not speak to the CEO or the chain of command directly, their message will be sent to them as if it was a face to face interaction. And the identity of the feedback is only revealed to the managers that are in charge. Craig Bierman, one of the workers, said that it's similar to a one on one conversation with the manager of the workplace. Although the anytime feedback tool may seem positive at face value, many critics have refuted the claim that the anytime feedback is anything but positive. Amazon uses the feedback tool to create a list of bottom performers. In this way, those that actually give negative feedback could also be at risk of losing their job. The tool used to decide which performers to release from an organization. As I said earlier, in this way, those that do give negative responses or those that tend to criticize or refute Amazon as a whole may be subject to losing their job or face termination. This can also be called purposeful Darwinism, which is a concept in helping deciding who to keep on a competition basis. And though this may seem well in which having the best workers for productivity, it also can be negative to those that are trying to keep up. And this can create an unhealthy culture of workers only working to outperform others and not focusing on the success of the organization as a whole. Here we will talk about the company's action plan in which what did Amazon do to change those feedback tools or anything that was negative in their workplace. So, what has Amazon done to combat their feedback system? It was stated that Bezos actually requested his employees to report unfair treatment to their HR. And also, there was a lot of claims that was refuted by past employees, in which those who are of the higher chain command claimed that some of these employers are being harsh, some of them were being rational, some of them just didn't enjoy the environment and decided to take it out on the organization as a whole. And a statement actually came from Jeff Bezos, which said the following articles, which are negative articles talking about the anytime feedback tool, does not describe the Amazon in which he had found it. When it comes to the company's management opinion on the issue, I will have to disagree with Jeff Bezos and Amazon's anytime feedback tool, but I will have to agree on the article in which it claims how Amazon handles their feedback. And this is due to an Amazon past history with their employees. Amazon can consider personal problems as liabilities in the workplace. And there was one concept in the article that mentioned that a pregnant woman that actually had a stillborn child was more worried, Amazon was more worried about her performance in the workplace than her personal issues that were going on at home. And the employee's performance and overall success becomes a struggle. We talked about this being purposeful Darwinism, in which is more of a competition basis. It seems at times that Amazon's feedback is only for their work productivity and refutes any claims that has to do with employees in their personal life. And overall, Amazon, even from a personal standpoint, could be considered a hostile work environment with both work productivity as well as the way they give out their feedback. When it comes to a plan of action, according to the article, Amazon in fact has no plan to change based on the article. And they also have no developmental plans in action. If there was a plan to change that Amazon could use, one could refer to their 360-degree feedback tool. And the 360-degree feedback tool focuses on information gathered from individuals all around the employee. And with this information gathered from the individual, it will focus on superiors, peers, customers, as well as subordinates. This will be different than the Anytime feedback tool in that it does not seem that employees are focusing one on one with the CEO or the supervisor of the company, but in fact, their feedback will be based off of those that watch them in action with their performance as well as their customer service skills. This is something that can also be for developmental purposes, not administrative, and it can detect rated errors, which the Anytime feedback tool could be considered a rated error in how it usually scolds the employees instead of helping them. And this can also be a suggestion to improve the competencies that is seen in Amazon. Based on the following information from Amazon and their Anytime feedback tool, we see that the Anytime feedback tool may seem positive at face value. And although it seems that employees are able to talk one on one, even if it's not a face to face interaction with the CEO or the supervisors of the company, it seems that this tool is only used to eliminate negative feedback from the company and also termination for bottom performers without caring about their personal life. So, my plan of action, which is also considered the goal, is to empower employees with feedback. And this feedback will be considered positive in that it can help enhance the productivity of the employees and not diminish it. And it also allows ownership of the development of employees. And it strictly focuses on development. One reason why I want to touch on this one is because it seems that Anytime feedback tool focuses on only Amazon as an organization and how they can increase, but it does not focus on how you can enhance the productivity of the employees, the ones that make the organization what it is. And this is similar to Embrace, in that Embrace is the article that focused on how Amazon needs to initiate better feedback tools that can help the employees because their feedback tools seem as only strictly forced for the organization to produce without caring about what happens to the employees. Based on a scholarly source by Yang, Zhang, and Yang, which came out in 2018, they believe that the way feedback could be produced in a positive manner is by implementing reflective intervention, which is a way to increase awareness of experiences in order to learn, as well as a coached feedback reflection intervention. According to Yang, Zhang, and Yang, one way that can help employees with feedback in the workplace is a coached feedback intervention. And a coached feedback intervention provides activities to dictate reflection learned from prior experiences. Now, how could this help Amazon to produce with their feedback? This can help Amazon in that they don't only focus on the work productivity and those that are negative, they just remove from the workplace. But what they can do is find those that are working negatively in the workplace, provide feedback in a positive manner, provide constructive criticism. And in this way, employees know what they're doing wrong and that they won't be scolded for it, but they'll be taught, they'll be educated on a positive way to do their work productivity, which can increase the work productivity as well as the quality of work from the employee. And it also reinforced learning by thinking, learning, promoting, effective processing of feedback. In this way, along with the constructive criticism, employees know that they're not being scolded for their work. They don't have to be at a fear of termination, but they know that with their negatives, there'll be positives, and that they'll be taught the positive way and taught in a positive manner that will increase their positivity, increase their feedback that could be more positive feedback towards the workplace. Yang, Zhang, and Yang also mentioned reflection intervention. And without reflection intervention, employees may reflect upon feedback without moving forward. So how can we use this as the anytime feedback tool with Amazon? As we know, employees provide criticism or positives to Amazon, and Amazon decides to take those that are negative feedbacks and find a way to rid this person out of the workplace, as well as focus on their negative performance to get them out of the workplace. And we see that reflective intervention serves as a way to allow those to reflect upon the feedback and move in a positive manner. Without this, it will be relatively difficult to find ways that can increase productivity. Instead of just focusing on if a person is doing negative, let's just remove them out the workplace, which is not the right way to go with the anytime feedback. And the reflective intervention also encourages more time and effort to process feedback. In that way, those that receive negative feedback or give negative feedback and also receives negative feedback, they can understand that if it's taught to them in a positive manner, if they're coached and learn about the things that are struggling in the workplace for themselves, this can enhance their work productivity when they come back and process the feedback that was given to them. Although it may seem contradicting, one thing that is also used could be the positive psychological approach. I will use this approach based off of O'Malley and Gregory in 2011, who stated that the positive psychological approach can focus on appreciating negative feedback, actually, as well as having positive approaches that focus on a balanced, authentic view of employees. And with this authenticity, it will focus on the awareness of positive as well as negative attributes and learn to accept those. And it will facilitate positive experiences in the workplace. And this can transition into constructive criticism. Now, why is this negative feedback different than the anytime feedback tool that is used by Amazon? The anytime feedback tool that is used by Amazon is used as a way for employees to talk about the workplace. The only problem is if that feedback that they give to the workplace is negative, the feedback that they can receive can cost them their jobs. It can cost them termination. And if they have a low work productivity, it can also cost them as well. By using a negative feedback tool such as this positive psychological approach, Amazon organizations, the higher ups can talk about the negative aspects of an employee. However, they will do it in a constructive manner in which they focus on the negatives and they focus on how employees can rid these negatives and not face termination, but find a way to increase their work productivity. So, with that being said, if I worked with Amazon with changing their company approaches, I will completely rid the anytime feedback tool, which is only used to scold employees and move them in a negative direction. But with the reflective intervention, as well as the coach feedback intervention, along with the positive psychological approach to feedback, employees will be introduced to constructive criticism that will not scold them for how they're working in the workplace. But the main purpose would to be to talk about how they're doing in the workplace and find a way to increase their work productivity so they can move in a better direction as well as enjoy the job that they want to work in. The following are my references in which I use to help me initiate the appropriate plan for Amazon and their performance management in the future.